Hi everyone, I am Dr.V.VIJI, Associate Professor of Economics, A.D.M.COLLEGE for Women, NAGAPATTINAM. My topic is General Equilibrium of ISLM function. In other words, the modern theory of interest. First, we have to see the introduction of this topic. This chapter integrates money, interest, and income into a general equilibrium model of product and money market in the Hicks-Hansen diagrammatic framework. The term ISLM is the shorthand expression of the equality of investment and saving, which presents the product market equilibrium. On the other hand, the term LM is the expression of the equality of money demand and money supply and represents the money market equilibrium. First, we have to see the product market equilibrium. The product market is in equilibrium when desired savings and investment are equal. Saving is a direct function of the level of income. S is equal to function of Y. Investment is a decreasing function of interest rate. Therefore, I is equal to function of R. This IS schedule reflects the equilibrium of the product market. It shows the combination of interest rate and income levels where saving investment equality takes place so that the product market of the economy is in equilibrium. It is also known as real sector equilibrium. Here we have to see the derivation of IS curve. The derivation of IS curve is shown in figure A and B. The saving curve shows that savings increases as income increases, which means saving is an increasing function of income. On the other hand, investment depends on the rate of interest and the level of income in figure A at a 5% rate of interest. The investment curve I, if the rate of interest is reduced to 4%, the investment curve will shift upward to I3. The rate of investment will have to be realized to reduce the marginal efficiency of capital to equality with a lower rate of interest. Thus, the investment curve shows more investment at every level of income. Similarly, when the rate of interest is related to 6%, the investment curve will shift downward to I1. Reduction in the rate of investment is essential to raise the marginal efficiency of capital to equality with the higher interest rate. In figure B, IS curve shows the level of income at various interest rates. Each point on this IS curve represents a level of income at which savings equal investment at various interest rates. The rate of interest is X represents on the vertical axis and the level of income on the horizontal axis. If the rate of interest is 6%, the savings curve intersects I1 curve at E1 equilibrium level. Income similarly, when the rating interest is from 5% to 4%, the saving curve intersect to I2 and I3 curve at E2 to E3, which determines OY2 and OY3 income represents. By connecting these points to A, B and C with the line, we get the IS curve. This is IS slopes downwards from left to right because as the interest rate falls, investment increases and so does income. In other words, there is a negative relationship between income and interest rate in the real society of the economy. Now we have to see the slope of this IS curve. In figure B shows that the IS curve slope downwards from left to right. This is a negative slope that reflects the increase in investment and income as the rate of interest falls. If investment is very sensitive to the rate of interest, the IS curve is very flat. This is known as segment A to B in figure 2, where small change in the rate of interest lead to change in the level of income. if the investment is not very sensitive to the rate of interest. The IS curve is relatively steep. Shift the IS curve. The IS function shifted to the right with a reduction in savings. A reduction in savings may be the result of one or more factors leading to increasing consumption. Consumers may like to buy the new products even by reducing savings. The IS function also shifted to the right by an autonomous increase in investment. The increase in investment may result from expectation of higher profits in the future. From innovation or expectations concerns the increase in the future demand of the product. Moreover, government's expenditure and tax policies have the effects of shift the IS function. Now we pass on to the money market equilibrium. The money market is in equilibrium when the demand and supply of money are equal. L stands for money demand, M stands for money supply, and in equilibrium L is equal to M. The demand for money L is equal to LT plus LS, where LT is the transaction demand for money, which is the direct function of the level of income. LT is equal to function of income. LS is the speculative demand for money, which is a decreasing function of the rate of interest. Therefore, LS is equal to function of R. Thus, money market equilibrium M is equal to LT, function of income, plus LS is the function of R, that is rate of interest. Deriving the LM curve. The LM curve shows all combinations of interest rate and levels of income at which the demand for money and supply of money is equal. In other words, the LM curve shows the combinations of interest rate and levels of income where the demand for money and supply of money are equal, such that the money market is in equilibrium. We measure income on the x-axis and plot the income level corresponding to the various interest rates determined at those income levels through money market equilibrium by the equality of demand for and the supply of money. Now let us move on the slope of LM curve. The above figure shows that the LM curve slopes upward to the right. This is because with the higher level of income, the demand curve for money MD is higher and consequently the money market equilibrium, the equality of the given money supply with the money demand curve occurs at a higher rate of interest. This implies that the rate of interest varies directly with income. It is important to know the factors on which the slope of LM curve depends. There are two factors on which the slope of LM curve depends. The first is the responsiveness of demand for money, that is liquidity preference, to the changes in income as the income increases, say from Y0 to Y1. The demand curve for money shifts from MD0 to MD1. That is, with the increase in income, demand for money would increase for being held for transaction motive. MD or L1 is equal to function of income. This second factor which determines the slope of LM curve is the elasticity or responsiveness of demand for money. Therefore, the liquidity preference for a speculative motive. To the changes in the rate of interest, the lower the elasticity of liquidity. Preference for the speculative motive concerning the changes in the rate of interest, the steeper will be the LM curve. On the other hand, if the elasticity of liquidity preference to the changes in the rate of interest is high, the LM curve will be flatter or less steep. The LM function shifted to the right with an increase in the money supply given the demand for money or due to the decrease in the demand for money on the given supply of money. If the central bank follows an expansion monetary policy, it will buy securities in the open market. As a result, the money supply with the public increase for both transaction and speculative motives. They shift the LM curve to the right. A decrease in the demand for money means a reduction in the number of balance demanded at each level of income and interest rate, which creates an excess of the money supply over the money demanded. This is equivalent to an increase in money supply in the economy, which has the effects of shifting the LM curve to the right. Here we show the figure. An increase in the money supply, the LM1 curve shifted to the right as LM2, which moves the economy to a new equilibrium point E2. The increase in the money supply brings down the rate of interest, that is R2 in the market. This is turn increase investment, thereby the level of income to Y2. This the effect of the increase in money supply is to shift the LM curve to the right, and a new equilibrium is established at the lower interest rate R2 and higher income level Y2. Now we see the general equilibrium of both the product and the money market. This general equilibrium position persists at a point of time given the price level. If there is any deviation from this equilibrium position, certain forces will act and react in such a manner that the equilibrium will be restored. Consider point A on the M curve, where the money market in equilibrium at Y1 income level and interest rate, but the product market not in equilibrium. Falling income reduce the transaction demand for money and ultimately brings about the equality of LM support, where the equilibrium is established by the equality IS and LM curves at R intersect rate and income level. The general equilibrium combination of Y, income level and R rate of interest may change other due to shift in the IS function or the LM function, or by both the factors shifting simultaneously. The IS function may shift does not changes in the saving function or the investment function. The shift in LM function may be caused by change in the money supply or liquidity preference. Thus, the expansionary effect of increase in investment is demanded by the rise in the interest rate and the income rise by less than the full multiplier. In the opposite case, when investment falls or savings increases, the IS function will shift to the left and the equilibrium will be established at a point level of income and interest rate. This situation has not been depicted in this figure. A decrease in the money supply or an increase in the demand for money will shift the LM curve to the left, such that equilibrium established at a higher rate of interest rate and lower income level. This case has not been duplicated in figure. Simultaneous shift in the IS and the LM function. The increase in investment when IS curve shift to the right, both the rate of interest and the level of income tend to rise given the LM curve. Now, suppose both the IS and the LM curve shift to the right simultaneously as a result of the increase in investment and the money supply respectively. This is shown in figure when IS intersect the LM curve at point E and the interest rate rises to R and income to Y. The income increases to Y, but the rate of interest remains at the same level R1. So, there has been full income expansionary effect, the increase in investment as a result of the simultaneous increase in money supply by just the amount necessarily to prevent the rise in the interest rate in this diagram. Summarize the causes and direction of shift in the IS and LM curves. Now we have to see the effectiveness of monetary and fiscal policy. The relative effectiveness of monetary and fiscal policy has been the subject of controversy among economists. The monetarists regard monetary policy more effective than fiscal policy for economic stabilization. The government influences investment, employment, output and income through monetary policy. Suppose the economy is in equilibrium at point E and the income OY and interest rate OR. An increase in the money supply by the monetary authority shifts the LM curve to the right to LM1 given in the diagram. But the relative changes effectiveness of monetary policy depends on shape of the LM curve and the IS curve. Monetary policy is more effective if the LM curve is steeper. Policy is less effective in the case of the flatter LM curve and more effective in the case of the steeper curve. Increase in the money supply has no effect on the interest rate OR and the income level OY. LM curve shifts to the right to LM1. With the increase in the money supply, the interest rate falls from OR to OR1, which has no effect on the demand for money. And the entire increase in money supply has the effect of rising the income level from OY to OY1. The original equilibrium is at point E with OR interest rate and OY income level. The LM curve shifted to the right to LM1. With the increase in money supply, it intersects the flatter curve IS and E2, which produce OR2 interest rate and OY2 income. The interest rate falls from OR to OR1, but investment being completely interest inelastic, the income remains unchanged at OY level. Shows that the increase in money supply, the LM curve shifted to LM1, but even with no change in the interest rate OR. There is a large change in income from OY to OY1. This makes monetary policy highly effective. Now we move on to the effectiveness of fiscal policy. The government also influenced investment, employment, output and income in the economic through fiscal policy. The relative effectiveness of fiscal policy depends on the slope of the LM and the IS curve. Fiscal policy is more effective, the flatter is the LM curve, and less effective when the LM curve is steeper. When the curve shifts upward to IS1 with increase in government expenditure level, impact on the national income is more flatter LM curve than the steeper LM curve. Fiscal policy is completely ineffective if LM curve is vertical. It means that the demand for money is perfectly interest inelastic. The level of income remains unchanged when the IS curve shifts upward to IS1. Only the interest rate shares from OR to OR1, and increase in government expenditure does not affect national income at other level. Perfectly horizontal LM curve where fiscal policy fully effective. The demand for money is perfectly inelastic. The historical LM curve is intersected by the IS curve at point E, which production over interest rate and OY level of income. Now take the slope of IS curve. The steeper is the IS curve, the more effective in fiscal policy. The flatter in IS curve is less effective in fiscal policy. These two changes illustrated through the figure. Fiscal policy is more effective, the steeper is the IS curve, and less effective the case of the flatter of IS curve. Fiscal policy is competitively ineffective if the IS curve is horizontal, and horizontal IS curve means that investment expenditure is perfectly interest elastic. This is depends in the figure. An increase in government expenditure shift IS curve to right OR1 to income OY. By the full employment of the increase in government expenditures through the figure explanation, this makes fiscal policies highly effective. This synthetic view three ranges analysis, economists have explained the effectiveness of monetary and fiscal policies in three ranges. In three ranges in order to reconcile the extremes of the Keynesian and monetarist view. The Keynesian range, another one is classical range or monetarist range, the third one is intermediate range. Monetary policy is explained through the figure where the three ranges LM curve, LM1 and LM2 shows with three IS curve. The LM2 curve emerges after an increase in the money supply. First we have to see the Keynesian range. The range where the LM curve is perfectly elastic. The effect on the interest rate, investment and income. Monetary policy is therefore totally effective in the Keynesian range. The range where LM curve is perfectly inelastic. The monetary policy is highly effective, rising national income by the full increase in money supply. Then next one is the intermediate range. The initial equilibrium is at B, where the IS2 curve intersect LM1 curve and OY2 level of income and OR3 interest rate. Money supply shift from LM1 to LM2. The money supply is absorbed for transaction purpose. Monetary policy is less effective than in the classical range. Then we move on to conclusion. The relative effectiveness of monetary and fiscal policy depends upon the shape of the IS and the LM curve and the economy's initial position. The economy is in Keynesian range, monetary policy is ineffective and fiscal policy is highly effective. IS curve is elastic, monetary policy is more effective than fiscal policy. Therefore, to complete effectiveness of both monetary and fiscal policies, the best course is to have the monetary and the fiscal mix. Thank you.